Buried in a blizzard. Across the West Country in Wales, a blanket of snow faced those trying to start their day. In Bristol, commuting must have felt like an uphill struggle. With over 3,000 schools closed in England, Scotland and Wales, including this one in Portishead, many parents were forced to change their plans at the last minute. Nearby, one family faced an equally anxious morning, having woken to find these cars had landed with the snow.
We heard this almighty crash. My husband was outside at that point looking to see if there was any further damage, and a vehicle had come right the way through, and my husband Matthew had to rescue the driver out of the back passenger door.
With sub-zero temperatures, losing their power supply was the last thing homeowners in Pembrokeshire wanted. Tonight, 1,000 people are still without electricity, and in the hills of West Wales, concern for the livestock ahead of the lambing season. The Met Office's red alert for South Wales successfully convinced many people to stay at home and avoid unnecessary journeys. This road goes through that red zone, the main dual carriageway that connects the heads of the South Wales valleys. Normally this would be busy with commuters, but today it's just a few hardy souls venturing out. In Merthyr Tydfil, it took grit and a fair bit of determination to help get people to work. The few stores that managed to open here were soon raided for supplies of milk and bread. Others closed early so that staff could try and find a way home. But in many parts of the country, that journey was a miserable one. Melted snow turned to ice. The route home became an obstacle course. There are a few who relish days like this, but most will hope the weekend will see winter loosen its grip.
Most could hardly move, though some couldn't stop.
It's snowing, folks, big time outside my house. In fact, I'm snowed completely in. Just had a couple of inches of snow in no time at all. Anyway, I went out for a little walk. Well, not a walk, I went to take some swipes from the car, see what sort of rad levels I'd get with my Geiger counter. I wore my motorcycle boots because I don't have any Wellingtons. They're not waterproof, but they're pretty dry anyway, and they're really comfortable and warm. Anyway, the most rads I got from doing different types of tests was 70 CPM, something like that. Anyway, so I thought, alright, I'll go out for a little check the area out, because it's beautiful around my area, especially when it's snowing. So I came home and I discovered this. So I'm going to turn my boots over. So we've got the soles. Okay, just take the cap. Literally just come in, I've been about 3 minutes.
Operating a reduced service, but the network is largely open
Let's go for this one.
For now. But getting commuters to work is only half the battle, and there are concerns that more snow today will cause greater disruption and greater frustration this evening, when those who made it in want to get home for the weekend.
158, 178 CPM,
it's hoped that more poor weather will cause
200
less
CPM.
disruption. In
Remember, my background's normally
a sliding
34
car
counts
knocked
per minute, my
another
natural
down into a
background.
garden. When police closed the road, residents were left with little
230
choice but to start
counts per
enjoying
minute.
their weekend
236.
early. Ben Ando, BBC News. Most could
This is
hardly
from
move,
just
though some
wet
couldn't
snow
stop.
that's
Heavy snow
accumulated
causing severe
in
disruption to roads here in
there.
Bristol
This,
and
the
across
particles,
the west of England
radioactive
and South
particles.
Wales.
My boots, you can see they're still
During the
very
night,
wet.
gritters had been deployed, but in the worst hit
Let's just try
areas,
this one.
hazardous driving conditions caused difficulties on both minor and major roads. A large section of the M4 motorway was
It's going to be the
closed.
same, really, isn't it?
And falling snow isn't the only danger.
You might be driving along in relatively calm conditions, all right, it's a bit snowy, you think you're okay, all of a sudden a gust of wind really cuts down the visibility, but also it can blow snow into a lane that you thought was clear.
So the moral of the story, kids, is don't let your kids go out in the snow. It's quite evident, isn't it? Because I wrote an article yesterday which I didn't post, and it was about rads in the snow, and about our Health Protection Agency and Environmental Agency lying to us in the UK about the radiation levels
Some train companies in
being
Wales, the
deposited
south of
on
England and the Midlands
us
are
from
operating a
Fukushima.
reduced service, but the network
But,
is largely open and running for now.
You know, so I wasn't totally confident with my article. This is now proved it. This is the highest I've seen on my footwear
when those who made it in want to get
going into the house. So if you do really go out in this, if you really must go out in the snow tomorrow, don't bring the shoes indoors.
A sliding car
This is
knocked
really
another
bad.
down into a garden. When police closed the road,
This is really
residents
bad.
were left with little choice but to start enjoying their weekend early. Ben Ando, BBC News. Most could hardly move, though some couldn't stop. Heavy snow causing severe disruption to roads
So
here
anyway,
in
there
Bristol
you go.
and across the west of England and South Wales.
No, clickety click, clickety click.
During the night, gritters had been deployed, but in the worst hit areas, hazardous
Do you have
driving
a 200,
conditions
that is?
caused difficulties on both
2,
minor
2,
and major
2,
roads.
02,
A large section of the
10.
M4 motorway was closed. And falling
There's no
snow
trickery
isn't the
here.
only
Like, you know,
danger.
these are just my motorcycle